Alright. Okay. Alright. Okay. Alright. Yep. Okay. Let's do this. Here we go. Yep. Here we go. Okay. Testing 1 2. Is this thing on? Wonderful. Okay. So, a couple of years ago at this point, I made a video on a YouTuber who I used to love watching, but since fell out of watching due to the over-commercialization of her content. Since the start of the Dream SMP, I'm reminded of storytelling motifs that stem from this YouTuber's most popular series. If you couldn't tell, I'm talking about Aphmau. I wanted to delve into a series of scenes, explain the significance of an overarching story, and delve into how each scene has tribute paid to it from roleplay stories of the modern Minecraft roleplay genre. I want to talk about a series that had a profound impact on my childhood, and that series is Minecraft Diaries Season 2, The War of the Magi. I was originally going to make this in a video essay format, but it's Christmas Eve at the time of me recording this voiceover, and I don't want to spend a month making a video that I think very few people will actually see, so I'm just going to put some gameplay footage over it. So Minecraft Diaries Season 2 takes place 15 years after the events of Season 1. Here, all the major characters have just come out of the Irene dimension to find all the minor characters old and decrepit. In this world, for every minute that passes in the Irene dimension, a year passes in the overworld. At the end of Season 1, all the main characters of Aphmau, Garroth, Lawrence, Aaron, Caitlin, Lucinda, Kenmer, and Emmeline are trapped in the Irene dimension fighting Zane, the main antagonist of the story. Too long, don't read. A portal opened and Garroth sacrifices himself to stay behind in the Irene dimension to fend off Zane. This is where Season 2 starts and where my introduction would end, except I have only gone over the background and not what I'm actually analyzing. Since these scenes that I'm going to be critiquing and analyzing don't have any formal name, I will be referring to them as the Irene Orchard scenes, or Orchard? Yeah, Irene Orchard scenes. The Irene Orchard is a giant tree straight out of a Final Fantasy inspired map where Aphmau goes whenever she sleeps to meet Garroth. Garroth's physical body transports to this place, whereas only Aphmau's consciousness transports, I think. The other characters allude to Aphmau disappearing in the middle of the night whilst these scenes take place, but that would violate the laws of time that Jessica Bravura, the main writer of the series, set for the world. What does she do? Open a portal and then be like, so long everyone, see you in 2 to 3 years, since these scenes take place for 2 to 3 minutes. She like goes away for like 2 to 3 years, and then 2 or 3 years go by and she comes back into the overworld and climbs into where she's sleeping, and everyone's like, oh, where have you been? So yeah, no, I'm not buying it. I'm going with the conscious thing. So now that I have some background information out of the way, here's a chart depicting the percentage of people that are not subscribed. Therefore, you should subscribe so you don't miss my content, because reasons. Twitter, Instagram links will be in the description. Follow me on social media. Let's get into the analysis of the Irene Orchard scenes. I'm going to have time chapters in the player bar of the video so you can skip around. So let's do it. The first of these scenes takes place during episode 9 of the series, which is the episode is entitled Dream or Reality. Leading up to this scene and the episode, Aphmau makes it out of the Irene dimension to find all of her friends from Season 1 aged by 15 years. From there, she meets her first adopted son, Levin, from Season 1, as he explains he is the new Lord of Phoenix Drop since Aphmau, the old Lord, went away for so long. Levin ends up taking Aphmau to their old family home. Afterwards, the village has a celebration to celebrate their old lord returning. All goes well. A character named Dante goes off to fight a band of thieves and rescue his daughter until he gets stabbed in the chest. Aphmau can heal Dante through some mysterious power, but before the leading alchemists can inquire her on how she was able to do that, Aphmau passes out. She comes to consciousness and says that there are more pressing matters to deal with, such as rebuilding the front gate of the village of Phoenix Drop. She and the librarian Emmeline, who was also trapped in the Irene dimension, try and do research on mystic healing powers relating to the goddess of Irene, who the Irene dimension is named after. When they feel they have enough research, Aphmau goes to try and use her power to open the Irene dimension portal and rescue Garroth. An explosion happens which almost kills her, but she is taken back to camp and given medical attention. A few days pass and she runs into a crazy old man named Castor. The synopsis of these events takes up the first 8 episodes, which leads into the 9th episode where Aphmau and the gang stop at a motel to get some rest. Then the first Irene scene takes place.
Where am I? I don't think I've ever been here before. Something about this place seems so familiar. Huh? Who's there?
Lord Aphmau. I thought you were Zane.
Garth? Oh, wait. I thought you were stuck in Irene's dimension. Wait. Am I dreaming all this?
Last thing I recall, you and the others had just left through the portal and I looked at Zane and...
This must be a dream.
If this is a dream, then I'm going to take the chance to do this. I have no idea what is happening, but at least I got the chance to do that, even if this is a dream.
Garth, you wouldn't normally do something like...
What do I have to lose now? If this is a moment my mind has given me before facing Zane, then I'm grateful. If I snap to and Zane is about to kill me, then at least I can say I did something about the way I feel.
Garth, before I left, you said you loved me. I don't know how to feel about...
Lord Aphmau, I don't expect you to return those feelings if your love is truly elsewhere. I know you and Lawrence... Gods forfend. I feel terrible doing something like what I just did behind his back.
Lawrence and I? What do you mean?
I know you two have something special. I saw you kissing in the woods.
What? Garth, I don't
need you to explain. It's alright. I just need you to know how I truly feel about you. How I felt since the day I knew you were a good person.
Huh? What is that?
The moment is over, then.
Aphmau suddenly wakes up in her bed where Emmeline is seen screaming her head off at Aphmau for supposedly leaving, even though she didn't really go anywhere, but whatever. In the scene you just saw earlier, Garth comes peering around a corner with a brandished sword, thinking that Aphmau was Zane. After a talk, Garth kisses Aphmau due to his overwhelming feelings for her that stemmed from when they first met back in Season 1. Garth operated a lot like the Mandalorian in that he usually never showed his face. That was until Aphmau caught a glimpse of him washing his helmet in a cave, in which she found out who this man was. While in Irene's dimension, Garth tells Aphmau about how he didn't expect her to return the feelings to him that he has of her. He says there are plenty of other men in her life that she could be happy with. This was sort of written as like a subtle, F off to the haters who wanted to see Aphmau get with Garth simply because they met first. This first scene sets up the overall dynamic of these two characters, and it comes as a shock when Garth, as well as another character named Lawrence, who was also a main love interest for Aphmau, become suddenly aggressive towards her despite giving the okay, to move on with her life. But whatever. So yeah, on to the next scene. The second of these scenes in Season 2 of Minecraft Diaries is in episode 15, which is entitled Sasha's Rage. Leading up to the episode, Aphmau arrives in a village called Matelli, the home of Lawrence. The reason Aphmau is there is to start negotiating the creation of the Phoenix Alliance, a republic of villages meant to stop the tyranny of Okasses from taking over the continent. They end up finding a type of demon called a Shadow Knight who opens a portal and runs through it. Aphmau, along with two background characters, close the portal and run back to the village to tell the others. Afterward, she wakes up in the middle of the night to run back to Phoenix Drop from Matelli to make sure others left at Phoenix Drop are safe. She ends up running into a woman named Sasha who gets arrested and thrown in the Phoenix Drop jail. Kenmer drops by to check on Aphmau and Lawrence, only to see Sasha, at which point he has a panic attack due to him thinking that she was dead. Before Kenmer met Emmeline, because Kenmer and Emmeline are husband and wife, Kenmer and Sasha were incredibly close. Aaron goes back to his camp where Aphmau follows him and try and know more about him after talking about how he lost everything, and Aphmau promising that he won't ever be alone as long as he's loyal to Phoenix Drop and the people of Phoenix Drop. Aaron, as a sign of respect to the former lord of Phoenix Drop, removes his bandana as a way to open up more to his fellow lord. Aaron was the former lord of a village called Falconclaw, as Aphmau was the former head lady, or female lord, of Phoenix Drop. Aphmau decides to stay the night at Aaron's camp, which leads to the opening of episode 15.
It's hard to believe 15 years have gone by in the overworld.
Sorry to talk your ear off about everything, but so much has happened in what seems like so little time.
Do you think it will be longer before I make it out of the Irene dimension?
That depends. Are you real, or are you just a memory in my dream?
I feel real, I guess. After our last encounter, I went back to the same spot I was in front of Zane, our swords in hand. Next thing I know, everything is going white again, and now I'm here with you.
What do you think is causing this?
I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if you're real too. Or maybe I'm just having flash forwards to things I should have done. I feel like I should have taken the time to know you more as a person, rather than just protecting you as my lord. In a way, I'm a little jealous of Lawrence. He was able to befriend you and make you laugh. Like that one time in the guard tower where you two were fighting over the table.
Oh yeah. You're right.
I wish I had the chance to create fond memories like that with you. I wasn't sure how to approach you, so I just acted as your god.
Well, we've had some fond memories together. Like the time we played with Levin and Malachi in the treehouse.
I mean fond memories of us alone.
Hey! Don't be like that. We're alone now, aren't we?
Yes, but my fear is that this is all a dream. You say you can only come here when you're asleep in the overworld. Even then, do you come here every time you sleep?
Garth, just enjoy this time. If it be a dream or not, our minds are allowing us to have this time together. So, I propose this. From now on, we don't talk about what's happened in the past. When I come here, if ever again, I'll tell you about what's been going on, and we'll just talk about things like that. Alright?
Sounds like a plan.
So, what do you want to know about?
Was he good looking?
Huh? Who?
The stranger you talked about. What was his name again? Aaron?
Huh? Why are you asking me a question like that?
I'm just curious.
Fine. He was very handsome.
Also then...
He was... Oh, wait, what? No fair, I wasn't done with what I was trying to say. I'm not answering that.
I just wanted to see your reaction. You look cute, flustered.
You jerk.
You know, I was serious about what I said before. About finding someone who deserves you. Don't wait to give me a chance just because I said I...
Hey, didn't we just get done with talking about things in the past?
Garroth and Aphmau appear to talk about the time gap between the two dimensions. This seems to be relevant due to the time gap in Limbo from the Dream SMP, when Dream SMP characters go and die, where time is tenfolded, then doubled, where, let's say, 1 day in the overworld is like 2 weeks in Limbo. So this sort of calls, that sort of time difference calls back to the difference between the overworld and the Irene dimension in Minecraft Diaries. Garroth confirms my theory of his physical presence being there while Aphmau is only there in consciousness. They discuss Aphmau's growing relationship with Lawrence and Garroth's reaffirming of her to move on from him. However, he seems to be disappointed at the lack of intimacy they had whilst he was in the overworld. Aphmau tells Garroth to stop talking about the past and only focus on the present, while she will come to talk about what's going on in the overworld. Garroth, on top of wanting Aphmau to be happy with Lawrence, even asks about the stranger who he comes to know as Aaron. And if he was, good looking and all that, to, in order to give Aphmau a hard time. Aphmau scolds him for breaking his promise to not talk about the past. There's this, bell chime that goes off, and Aphmau wakes up in the overworld. After interrogating Sasha some more, the episode ends. All of this chemistry and tension from the Irene Orchard scenes are building between Aphmau and Garroth, and this will come to fruition in one of the later episodes of the series. But for now, we must let the pot boil. The third scene in the Irene Orchard series is in episode 20, entitled "The Vows We Take." Leading up to the episode, Aphmau set sail to start the Phoenix Alliance. While on travels with Lawrence and another character named Caitlin, they come across a Mifwa, a sort of half-cat, half-human named Michi. She drugs the party and locks them in a dungeon, where Aphmau then meets a character who goes by the Wolf Queen. The Queen takes Aphmau to meet the Wolf King, who says she must marry his son to raise his status, despite the fact that his son doesn't even love her. After escaping down a trapdoor, Aphmau makes her way to a bar to try and think of a way to escape the predicament she is currently in. Excuse me. This leads to the opening of season 20 and the third scene in our series, which goes like this.
No. This is horrible. Everything that's happened to you. Everyone.
I have no idea what to do, Garth. What if Nicole doesn't come and I don't even know if we can count on Lowell. I can't find a way to do anything, and I don't want Lawrence to die.
Nor do I. Aphmau, listen to me. You must protect him at all costs. I can't be there to protect you for myself anymore. Which pains me more than you know. If you lose Lawrence, I know Dante would be there for you, but he has his own family to care for now. I need to know you are protected. It's completely selfish of me to think of Lawrence as your protector in my absence. But in this situation, that's all I can think about. Be there for each other.
I'll figure something out. I know I will.
Do whatever you must. Now, those ears.
So, Aphmau vents her frustrations to Garth and talks about two characters named Lowell and Nicole. So Lowell is a werewolf that Aphmau rescued when he was just a child, and Nicole is a merchant bounty hunter who had a history with Dante and is one of Aphmau's best friends. In this scene, Garth's desperation is apparent. On top of trying to be a love interest, he still remains the head guard of his lady. Because he can't be there in person due to being stuck in the Irene dimension, Garth is forced to put Lawrence as his second in command to make sure that Aphmau and Lawrence are protecting each other, since Lawrence has become somewhat mentally unstable. The werewolf prince that we come to find out is named Fenrir is very apologetic towards Aphmau and is sorrowful of his and Aphmau's current situation. The wedding comes, and Lawrence, who is scheduled for execution, becomes unhinged, enraged, and fatal by trying to kill everyone to get to Aphmau. Aphmau, knowing Lawrence has feelings for her, kisses him to calm him down, and thus is the end of the episode. At this point, we start getting into the bond that Garth has with Aphmau. It's this visual convention of being trapped behind a glass wall, knowing that things are happening and he can't do anything about it. Garth, in a way, sort of becomes like a surrogate for the majority audience who just wants to see the main character, Aphmau, happy. And so Andy, aka That Dragon Hat, did an amazing job conveying the emotions of a character whose entire personality was basically a hot British jock. I said in my analyzing Aphmau video that I knew Aphmau was eventually going to get with Eren due to the fundamental trope of harem anime, where the main character always goes for the outcast. But as I look back on this series, I can't help but break down as I see the emotional turmoil of a character who I overlooked when I was younger. The fourth scene of the Irene Orchard series takes place in episode 27 of season 2, entitled Dante's Dilemma. Leading up to the episode, Aphmau and Lawrence escape the village together and run into Nicole. Nicole takes Aphmau to her home, where she does more research on her mysterious healing power. So Nicole takes Aphmau to Nicole's home, where Aphmau does more research on her mysterious healing powers before being asked to heal a boy in the village square. Lawrence and Aphmau get to know the members of the village when Aaron arrives to tell them that they need to get back to Phoenix Drop. At which point, Lawrence encounters a Shadow Knight, gets converted, and then slashed by Aaron for trying to kill Aphmau in a demonic rage. Therefore, they have to stay in the village for a little while as Lawrence gets over his demon possession. This leads to one of the most heartbreaking moments in all of the series. Not the most, but one of the most. Nicole takes Aphmau to a woman named Kiki, who is the head animal caregiver formerly for Phoenix Drop, and allows Aphmau to meet her best friend, a wolf pup, or a former wolf pup, I guess a domesticated wolf dog named Thorgy, who hadn't seen Aphmau in 15 years. He dies in her arms as Aphmau is asked to take up his offspring and carry on his family. 07, boys. 07. Rip in peace, Thorgy. You were a good comrade. Lawrence gets healed up, and they finally set sail for home. They arrive in Phoenix Drop and notice the village is starting to look like its old self again. Then the fourth scene in our analysis plays.
Shh. It's okay.
I don't know what to do. I
don't see what's holding you back from Lawrence. Why are you blushing? Wait, are you saying...
I don't know when it happened.
What? Wait, I didn't think that you... I mean, this is... You can't be saying you have feelings for me. I mean, I just didn't think that,
I never knew you had feelings for me until you... Me?
So I just made things more complicated for you by doing that, didn't I?
A little. Garth, it's not a big deal. In all honesty, I'm glad you told me. I think, after reading Nicole's diary, I realized that it's better to say things to those you care for before it's too late. At least now I know how you feel. I would feel just terrible for you if you told me this 10 years from now and I was with someone else. I'm glad you said something.
But I just made things more complicated for you. Wouldn't it be better if I just held back and let you be with Lawrence? As long as you are happy.
Lawrence said that he would want to challenge you for my hand when you get out of here. Garth, I don't expect you or Lawrence to do such a thing. Honestly, I want you guys to just take the time to get to know me. We'll let time work things out from there. I don't always want people to do what makes me happy, Garth. I want to make those around me happy as well. Confessing to me was your closure. Now we can see what happens from there. But don't just give up because you think it's right. Let people know what you think. That way, people can also try to make you happy as well.
I understand what you mean. I'll try harder to allow myself to express how I feel to others. It is selfish for me to close myself off though they can't help me.
Good. I'm glad. Now tell me, what do you want to talk about now?
Well, who kissed better?
Wait, what?
You said. I was just curious. I'm sorry. What, was that too forward of a question? I didn't mean to.
I understand. I don't blame you for wanting to know, but I don't want to kiss and tell.
I get it. So he was better than me? Huh?
Gareth, this is embarrassing for me. I think I regret telling you to be forward, and I want you to go back to being your old introverted self. What are you looking at?
Throughout this whole time, Garroth has vented and explained his feelings toward Aphmau, not because he expects her to reciprocate his feelings to him from her, but because he just wanted to take that load off of his back. He what's the word I'm looking for? He just hammers home, it just implores Aphmau to move on from him, but Aphmau can't because she has expressed feelings for Garroth, which now makes the situation even more complicated because Garroth didn't take into account Aphmau has feelings for him. Aphmau wakes up from the Irene dimension and goes to check on her village. Apparently Jess during this time had some sort of flu and decided to incorporate it into Aphmau, which is the character that Jessica Bravura plays. So all of the characters ask Aphmau how she's doing. Now, to get into the title of the episode, which is called Dante's Dilemma. In the Minecraft Diaries universe, which I will now be referring to as the MDU for short, Dante is married to a character named Kawaii-chan, who is a blatant fetishization of Asian culture. She's basically a weeaboo. Dante had a previous relationship with Nicole, and the two of them had a son together named Dimitri. As heads clash, between Nicole and Dante over, infidelity, Caitlin comes over and smacks Dante upside the head and knocks him out and threatens Nicole for disturbing the peace of Phoenix Drop. The episode ends there. This episode is what cements Garroth as a surrogate for the audience. Garroth says all these things about moving on from the past, and trying to get away from your past and be a better person, which somewhat comes as a surprise when he decides to do a complete 180 and scold Aphmau for moving on from the past, but we'll get to that scene when we get to it. So the last of the Irene Orchard scenes is in episode 77, entitled Promises. Leading up to the episode, Aphmau and co. reach the demon warlock, who is super evil, you guys. Like, super evil. Oh my gosh, he's so evil. I'm a bad guy. Wow. And the warlock gets defeated. Wow, who knew? Who knew that this was going to happen? He's so evil, you guys. And Aphmau gets a realm breaker off of the corpse of the demon warlock, who then gives it to Aaron, who will then use it to open the portal to get Garroth out. And once again, we'll get to that scene when we get to it. They get back to Phoenix Drop and start the preparation for the start of the Phoenix Alliance. Aphmau, while staking out a place for the HQ of the Alliance, stumbles across the old wolf village and finds a nether portal opened in the cave of the village. In normal Minecraft, the nether is no big deal. It's just a dimension that people use to go grind for netherite. In the MDU, however, it's a very big deal because they treat it like actual hell, which is what the nether is supposed to be. Aphmau, upon seeing the opened nether portal, reunites with an old member of Phoenix Drop, who is the youngest brother of Garroth and Zane. His name is Vlad. Garroth, Zane, and Vlad are known as the Romeve brothers. I don't know how to pronounce that. But Garroth is the oldest brother, Zane is the middle child, and Vlad is the youngest one. Garroth is the good one, Zane is the evil one, Vlad is sort of the neutral one. Aphmau runs back to Phoenix Drop with Vlad after getting word that her first adopted son, Levin's boat crashed onto the shoreline. Aphmau finds her son missing and eventually comes to find out the woman who's responsible for her son is Michi. And a few things happen in the season, so to fast forward a little bit, I'm gonna TLDR this, play the do music. Aphmau and Co travel to an island where they meet an infant baby girl who they adopt and name Lilith. Aaron opens up to Aphmau and starts to develop feelings for her. They end up sleeping together in a camp before deciding the island is a perfect place to start the Phoenix Alliance. The reason why Aphmau and Aaron form such an intimate relationship is that they were both former lords. Aaron lost everything to Zane, who is currently fighting Garroth in the Irene dimension. Aphmau stays with Emmeline to do more research on Irene, which leads to this scene in episode 77. Roll the footage.
Garth! There. That should do it. How do you feel?
Good as new. Like I told you, though, it was just a scratch. Nothing to fuss over.
Nothing to fuss over? It didn't look like that. You were hurting.
I was caught off guard. I turned to see the portal everyone left out of, and the next thing I know, Zane struck me. I was able to avoid the full impact of his blade, but... well, obviously not entirely. Next thing I knew, I was here, and then you showed up out of nowhere.
At least you're healed now.
Thank you, but it seems like time is starting to move.
I know. Garth, don't worry. It's only been a few months in the overworld. We're still looking for answers, and I honestly think we're really close. Just hang on, and I promise we'll get you out of the Irene dimension before your fight with Zane continues. You won't be alone to face him. No!
Well, I suppose that's our cue. Give your guards my best. They better be taking care of you.
I will. And don't worry. We are coming for you. I promise.
Do I look worried?
So, from this scene, you can clearly tell the desperation in Aphmau is building as she's been in the overworld for months trying to break Garroth out of the Irene dimension. She has all this trauma built up and is bearing the weight of it. Aaron, knowing what that does to the human psyche, forces Aphmau to tell him everything to get it off of her chest whilst they're having a picnic with Lilith. Not the best way to go about it, but I mean, you kind of have to ensure the well-being of the lord of a republic, you know? Basically the president, you know? You don't want your president just breaking down and having a panic attack. So, at this point, Aaron and Aphmau become romantically involved with each other and want to start opening up to each other because Garroth said it was okay for Aphmau to, move on. And also Aaron and Aphmau sort of become like parents, adopted parents to Lilith. So they form sort of this maternal and fraternal, bond with each other, basically, over taking care of this baby. So, Aphmau tells Aaron about Garth's wound. They both conclude that time is starting to move in the Irene dimension as fast as it is in the overworld. Eventually, Aaron would sacrifice himself to save Garroth so that Zane could be killed. This led to the most heartbreaking moments in Minecraft roleplay history, in my opinion, where Aaron makes one final valiant stand as the head lord of Falcon Claw. The last quarter of the series is a tizzy. Lawrence becomes a Shadow Knight and gets casted into the Nether Realm. Garth and Aphmau are reunited. Aaron and Zane are supposedly killed by an explosion. And Aphmau is discovered to be the reincarnation of Lady Irene, who is the goddess of the MDU. Overall, I wanted to talk about these scenes because I said multiple times in that video from September of 2020 that I don't hate Jess or the Aphmau brand. I just disagree with some of the content that she makes now and want her to go back to making roleplays again. I want her to continue writing and doing what she did during 2015 to 2019. But then again, I would be breaking my favorite character's code. In the famous words of Aaron Lycan from Season 2 of Minecraft Diaries, all it takes is one mistake. It might be a small misstep, but if you aren't careful, you can lose everything. I took this line to heart, and I think it applies to the Aphmau brand's current situation. They've become so worried about numbers and money that they've started making content for children, which violates COPPA, by the way, the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. You're not allowed to make content explicitly for children and have it monetized. But it seems that people, not just in the Minecraft community, but in the roleplay community, forget what makes roleplay good. It's not about the production value or the sets or the narrator, dungeon master, writer, whoever's telling the story. It's about forming connections with fictional people and growing attached to them. It's about being excited when they triumph and being sad when they fail or die, as I was when Aaron Lycan died, because he was my favorite character. Jessica, as well as a lot of people in the Minecraft community, seem to forget this. What makes these scenes so memorable in my mind, the Irene Orchard scenes, is the emotion that is portrayed all through simple Minecraft characters. Excuse me. I'm terribly sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I am reading this live with very minimal editing, and also I just got back from Christmas Eve dinner with my extended family, so stuff is going bubble bubble perp perp in my belly. But yeah, so like on the topic of making scenes memorable, it's kind of like when Tommy was in limbo after being killed by Dream and was able to convey that he had been in limbo for a few months, for like 6, 7, 8 months, when it had only been a few seconds. He did all of this with a blank screen and had, Wilbur there, and they were doing the whole echoey stuff. Garth was one of the most underrated characters in Minecraft Diaries. I never got to fully appreciate him as I did with Aaron due to him being my self-insert, Aaron being my self-insert. Garth loved Aphmau. He loved her so much that he was willing to let her go for her to be happy. That scene I said we'd get to, the tension between Garth and Aphmau, when Garth did a complete 180 about telling Aphmau, oh yeah, you can move on. Here's the scene that I was talking about where Garth does the complete 180.
And you thought this was the time to tell me, right after we found out that my mother is about to be executed by that witch who seems to have it out for you. The same woman, by the way, who is terrorizing the countryside.
Garth, I'm sorry. I didn't know I was pregnant, and I didn't know how to tell you.
You're sorry. That's great. Were you ever going to tell me, or were you just going to keep lying to my face?
I didn't know what I wanted. I've been worried about Lawrence and everything going on with Ivy, and I...
You do realize what you're saying, right? That I'm just an afterthought in everything else going on in your life. How long did it take before you'd forgotten about me?
Gareth! No, that's not what I meant! This is all coming out wrong. I feel like I'm just making this so much worse.
You think?
Please, try to understand.
What am I supposed to do, then? Just say everything is fine and pretend this never happened?
No, I don't know.
Everything you've said to me, did you even mean it? Or were you just lying to me this whole time?
No, that's not... Garth, wait!
For what? For you to make up some reason for this to be okay? This whole time, I was waiting for you. You moved on. Forget about me. The thought of you kept me going when I was fending off Zane. All those moments under the tree. Were those lies too? I would go to the ends of the earth and back for you. I would die for you. And now I don't know what it means, if it means anything. I was such an idiot.
That scene was Jess acting out of fear over the 20% of her audience who thought they knew what was best for a fictional roleplay series. You saw the other scenes. You saw the Irene Orchard scenes. You saw Garth saying it was okay for Aphmau to move along. So why is Garth all of the sudden telling Aphmau that she's a liar? It's because Jess, in real life, started to become afraid of audience backlash. She started to lose passion for the stories she was making. At that moment, she no longer wanted to continue Diaries or My Street out of fear of, people getting riled up over, fictional Minecraft roleplay series. That's why she doesn't make the series that she used to make anymore. That's why her content has become stagnant, stale, and boring. As I said in one of my other video essays, you made your bed, and now you're throwing a hissy fit because you have to lay in it. These 20% of people made Aphmau upset, and also no credit to Aphmau either, no credit to Jess, because she let these 20% of people who didn't represent all of us get under her skin. So now she completely overhauls her channel. That's not okay either. But these 20% of people, made their bed, and now throwing a hissy fit and ruining Aphmau's, brand, because they have to lay in the bed that they made. They have to come to terms with the fact that Aphmau will probably never return to the series that she was making. This scene, the scene of Gareth being like, is everything you told me a lie, is what killed off Minecraft roleplay on Jess's channel. It's what killed off the authenticity of roleplaying on her channel, and is what killed hundreds of episodes of character development. At that point, Jess was running on borrowed time. As much as it pains me that there will never be a roleplay series that is as big as Diaries or My Street, besides the Dream SMP, but the Dream SMP only has a few people who put the same amount of effort into that as Jess did into Diaries or My Street. I'm not sad or angry that it's over. I'm happy that it happened, even if it ended on a cliffhanger, with Aaron, in My Street season 6, the last scene, of Travis and Aphmau becoming not alone buddies again. It's an inside joke from My Street, Phoenix Drop High. And Aaron basically reverting back to his high school self. It ended on a cliffhanger, but I'm happy that it happened. I'm happy that I got to know all these characters. I got to love them. I'm happy that I got into content creation and storytelling because of Jessica and Jason's series. Jason is Jessica Brewer's husband. I'm sorry for all of the negative things I said in that video. I'm sorry for Jessica and Jason. I'm sorry for saying that, that they put their children in front of the cameras to get all points from teenagers. I'm sorry for all of the hate that they received. And most importantly, I'm sorry for all the characters that had to be scrapped due to negative reactions. Jessica, Aphmau, I don't know how to refer to you. If this video somehow reaches your eyes and ears, I want to say that I'm grateful for the childhood that you've helped contribute to. Thank you for an incredible story that lasted years, albeit with some flaws. They contributed hours upon hours of entertainment and provided an escape from fascistic school teachers and hormonally challenged teenagers. You were, and still somewhat are, a YouTuber who I strive to be like in my life. Just like Philza, Philza Minecraft, except in the past, you had a community that was open where everyone could talk about the going-ons of Blue Jay Studios, now Catface Studios. I hope that you can find the time to reconnect with Keston, Andy, Rizu, Sebastian, all the voice actors of these series, and let them all reunite for a final season as a thank you to the fans, like me, who've watched you grow as a person. So, in conclusion, Garth and Aphmau shared a bond together and were able to open up to each other in key scenes to help establish the psychology of each character. This video was really long, so I apologize. Like I said at the beginning of the video, there will be video chapters on the play bar, so you know what each section is. I'm sorry if this video didn't come out sooner. I just had a lot on my chest and wanted to get it out. With that, if you're new, please subscribe, and I'll talk to all of you guys later. For those of you who have been subscribed. Until we meet again, goodbye.